It's spooky season, which honestly for me started about August 1st because I put up these Halloween decorations on my bookshelf on like August 1st. And it's the end of September now and I'm filming this video, so you know, we're really good at timing things right. The fall season, the witchy season, the ghosty season is among us.
I don't know how it goes.
That's not it. Where's our soundboard when we need it? Is that the Among Us one you were thinking of? Soundboards, man. They're a time. The spooky season is among us, which in my personal opinion is the best season. Best time of year, unlike the very famous Christmas song. What is it? Is that the right? No, it's the most wonderful time. I thought it was season for a second. Is it season? It's the most wonderful time of the year. That's right, yeah. And because it is spooky season, it is the fall season, we are officially now in fall, I thought I would give some fall recs. Fall recommendations. Fall book recommendations. Witchy book recommendations. I think I literally have a majority of witchy books. Witchy, vampire, cozy, murder mystery, dark academia. I feel like I need to break it down. I need to break it down into first books I have read and recommend, then the books I want to read this spooky season. I've kind of done a video like this where I did my top 5 fantasy and then I did my top 5 fantasy I want to read. Basically, I'm going to recommend some books that I think are great to read in the fall that I have already read, that I really enjoyed, and I think you guys will enjoy. And then I'm going to talk about some books that I have been recommended by some friends that also fit that spooky, witchy, fall time vibe that I have not yet read, but am hoping to read. Let's just start. Let's just go. Should we go with witchy books first? Let's recommend some witchy books. The first series I would recommend is the Kingdom of the Wicked series by Carrie Maniscalco. This is a witchy demon book. Basically, I just reread this fall. I'm obsessed with Carrie Maniscalco's writing. Oh god, I'm not doing this well. I'm not doing this justice. Wrath Daddy. Let me just start this by saying Wrath Daddy is one of my ultimate book boyfriends. I adore him. I love him. He is in this trilogy. And guess what? The next book in this series, even though this trilogy is finished, she's continuing on with the world, and it's coming out literally this week, so probably it's already out by the time this video is out. Kingdom of the Wicked is the first in this trilogy, and it follows a witch named Amelia who has a twin sister who is Victoria. It is based in Italy. They are witches together, and well, obviously they're witches together because they're sisters. Amelia loves to cook. Her family owns this restaurant. It's a fun time until her sister gets murdered. Her heart gets brutally ripped out of her chest, and then it's a murder mystery book. And to help her with this murder mystery, she summons a demon, and his name is Wrath, and I adore him. Each demon prince is ruling over one of the 7 deadly sins. In this case, we're following Amelia and Wrath. Wrath is our main prince in this trilogy, but the next book that is coming out is following an Envy's point of view, so we're going through, I guess, all the 7 sins. Right now, we just have the 3 out that are Wrath and Amelia's story, and then I think we're getting standalones next for different princes in the world. Envy's book is coming out this week, which I'm really excited about. This series was all over Book Talk. I am completely obsessed with it. You have to get at least to the second one because I feel like the second one is where the story really picks up, which I hate saying. The first one is still entertaining. You just get to a lot more of the demon, steamy, fun scenes in the second and third one. But overall, it's a murder mystery kind of story with witches and demons and romance and steamy scenes. Definitely a new adult series, not young adult, even though this first book was marketed as young adult, it's definitely new adult. The next witchy book is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. These are both really popular Book Talk witch books. This is about a witch and a witch hunter in an arranged marriage together. The first book is amazing, 5 stars. I really loved it. The second and third one kind of go downhill, but they're still a fun series. I always recommend this first book at least because I think it's a fun book to read. Lou is a very sassy witch. He is this like member of the church who is also a witch hunter, and so there's a lot in here about religion and like growing up in religion and how he thinks witches are a sin and they're evil, and yet he's married to one. Give me witches with their mortal enemies, either a witch hunter or a demon, and I'm in love with it, I guess. It's just how my mind works. These are perfect October reads, I think. They're perfect witchy season, like put on pumpkin scented, apple scented scents and drink some tea and maybe something stronger. Eat some delicious foods. You're definitely gonna crave food reading Kingdom of the Wicked, but you're definitely also gonna crave cinnamon rolls while reading this. I guess goes into my next recommendation very well, because cinnamon rolls are also very prominent in the next story, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. This is not a witchy book. In fact, it is a very cozy book. This is about an orc named Viv who is just getting out of the battle scene. She's done fighting. She doesn't want to fight anymore, and so she decides to go to this town in the middle of nowhere and open up her own coffee shop, but nobody in the town knows what coffee is. And so it's her little quest to open her own little cozy coffee shop and teach this town about what coffee is. You get this beautiful, beautiful lady right here. She is a succubus. She starts working with Viv. They might have a little bit of a queer relationship happening, maybe. There is sapphic representation in this book. There is, I want to say there's a little bit of PTSD, like, from her time as a battling in these wars, and she just wants to cozy down and have a peaceful life and doesn't want to fight anymore. There is the cutest little baking ratkin named Thimble. He is my new favorite character of like all time. He is this cute little rat who just bakes and loves coffee, and that's all he does, and I adore him. And every time he speaks in this book, it made me want to cry. He's adorable. I love him. There is literally like zero plot. There's a little plot, mostly zero plot, mostly just cozy vibes. Cozy vibes, cozy times. Put on some tavern music while you listen to it. Drink some coffee and eat some cinnamon rolls, because that's all this book is gonna make you want to do. A Dar of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is one of the shortest books I've ever read, but one of the most emotionally challenging books, I want to say. There's a lot in this little book. It's quite heavy. Definitely look up the trigger warnings. This is a vampire book. It is not a romance, but there's definitely like steamy scenes in it. I have a hard time recommending it as a romance because it's definitely a toxic relationship. This is the Fairy Loot edition, by the way. Let me just read you the first line so like you can kind of see how this story is told, but I never dreamed it would end like this, my lord. Your blood splashing hot flecks onto my nightgown and pouring in rivulets onto our bedchamber floor. Basically, this is one long letter that this vampire wife mistress has written to her husband, who was a vampire who turned her, and it's her like confession letter to him throughout their life and why she chose to murder him. It's a time. I think it's written beautifully. It's told in this one long letter, but there are still like scenes. It's told as a letter the whole time, but there is, moments that it's hard to explain. Just trust me, if you will. Go read this book. It's beautifully written. There are a lot of trigger warnings. There is literally a list of trigger warnings at the very beginning, like emotional, verbal, and physical, partner abuse, gaslighting, war, famine, plague, blood and gore. There is consensual sexual content. There is self-harm, body horror, violence and murder, alcohol use, depression, mania, sexual assault, drug use, and drowning. So there's a lot of triggers. This would not be a fall recommendation video, or a recommendation video at all, if I did not include Stalking Jack the Ripper by Karen Maniscalco. Listen, this is my favorite series of all time. I don't talk about it enough on this channel. I talk about it a bunch on my Bookstagram. I'm sure people are telling me to shut up by now. But I will not stop until I get almost every single person in my personal life, and now you guys, to read this series. Sound good? Is that a threat? Maybe a little bit. Read this book. This is the first in a 4-book series plus a novella, so maybe like 5-ish books, but the novella doesn't really count. So 4.5 books, I guess. Following our main character, Audrey Rose, who is a forensic scientist, or she wants to be, but she's a girl living in the 1800s, and well, she can't really do what she wants to do. She wants to do what she wants to do and she can't. And so she sneaks into her uncle's class, who her uncle teaches forensic science. She sneaks in as a boy, and she meets another boy there named Thomas Cresswell. And Thomas Cresswell is the love of my life. He is also into the forensic studies, and you would never believe it, but this murder, Jack the Ripper, is on the streets of London, where they are currently studying forensic science, and they are trying to solve the murders of Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper, if you know anything about true crime, is an actual serial killer. I think he's labeled as like one of the first serial killers that we have in like history, or like that we can track down. And he is still a mystery technically to this day, though I think there is some recent evidence that came out to suggest who he might have been. Anyways, he was this guy who went around the alleys of London killing sex workers. And this story basically takes those murders but makes it fictional, but also kind of historical, but it's definitely fictional. You know, you got me. Cool. This book has very mysterious vibes. You're trying to guess who the murderer is the whole time. There is gore, violence, blood. There is also romance, because we love a detective couple. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The audiobooks are really good. Back to the Carrie Maniscalco thing. We're talking about Carrie Maniscalco, so it's fine. These audiobooks, the Kingdom of the Wicked audiobooks, are some of the best audiobooks. I adore these audiobooks. They add sound effects. They add voice effects when they were doing their witchy spell stuff. It's just perfect audiobooks. I love these audiobooks. This is a 4-book series, so technically I recommend the whole series, not just the first one. The second one, which is my favorite, is Hunting Prince Dracula, and it's based in Romania with a vampire-like killer on the loose. Each one follows a different killer, but you have to read them in order. Do not read them out of order. You will spoil yourself. First one is Jack the Ripper. Second is Hunting Prince Dracula. Third is about Houdini. And the fourth one is about H.H. Holmes. So there's a lot of murders, there's a lot of true crime mixed with fictional, like she took true crime elements and like put them in the fictional world that Audrey Rose and Thomas exist in. It's a lot of fun. Detective couple. I adore this series. I try to reread it every fall. I'm working through it right now and I'm trying to annotate it. I adore. My last recommendation that I have read is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This isn't super fall or like witchy or anything like that. This is actually a Shakespeare retelling, but there are some like mystery and horror elements to it that I think could be fun to read in the fall time. There is this mystery of a murderer going around Shanghai. There is this 1920s gang rivalry going on. Rivalry going on. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling between Roma and Juliet, who are opposite sides of a gang. It isn't super fall spooky vibes, but I think there is enough of the murder and horror and gore in this book to recommend it for the spooky season. Let's do a quick little run through of some books that I'm hoping to read this spooky season that I have been recommended. Let's start with Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. This has been recommended to me many times. I recently bought this one and the second one because I wanted to read them. People recommend these to me because they say it reminds them of Stalking Jack the Ripper. It's about a girl who also is in forensic science. I think she is literally paying this dude to dig up bodies for her. That's all I really know about it. I've heard that the relationship in this book, the romance in this book is really good too. I've just heard that this and Stalking Jack the Ripper are very similar, therefore people think I'm gonna like it. Therefore, I think it might be a good book to read in the fall time, the fall spooky time, and I'm gonna try to read this one and the second one this year. I had been wanting to read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo since it came out, since before it was released. Look at this. Look at the snakey matches my nails. Look at that. Oh my god. Snake nails. I've heard is a dark academia, kind of like college, but with witchcraft, maybe magic in like a secret society kind of thing. Don't really know. I just love Leigh Bardugo. I love her Six of Crows series so much. I like her writing a lot. This is a duology I've been wanting to read for the longest time. I have both of them. I really, really just want to read them this fall. I am constantly waiting for the fall season to pick it up, and then I feel like the fall season goes so fast, and I don't read them. I have two kind of rom-com witchy books that I want to read. Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper, which is I think this is a sapphic romance, just a cute little rom-com sapphic romance that takes place in a small little town with a witch who isn't very good at magic, and she joins like a magic competition with this dark magic girl, and I think they kind of start a relationship. That's what I get from it, but hopefully I want to read this. There is also another book that I got sent called Mr. and Mrs. Witch. I'll put the cover here. This is like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith retelling, but with witches. So that's all I know about it. I was sent this. I love Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I like watch that movie at least twice a year, I feel like. I really want to read this book too. Meow. 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 Oh my god. Come here. Hi, my baby. You want to talk about some witchy books with me? Are you my familiar? You're not a black cat, but you work. You're all wet. What did you get into? You also kind of smell. Oh. Another book I've been recommended and told is a fun time for the autumn spooky season is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I think the second book just came out called Foxglove or something like that. I've heard that this girl literally makes a deal with death, and that death is kind of sexy. That's what I've heard. I've heard he's kind of a daddy, and that's it. I'm like sold based off of that small description that I've gotten from it, that this girl kind of has a relationship with death. There's also murder. Okay, murder and death and a hot daddy dude. So, Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I always mess up her name. This is the same author who wrote Fable, which I adore, and don't know much about it, but it is murder, there is magic, and secrets. So, that seems spooky time to me. She's just chilling here. Hi, baby. Come here. Okay. They both want food, so I gotta go feed them. Give me some good, cozy fall vibes, vampires, witches. I can't. Okay, I need to stop. Give me the strength to continue on, please. Give me some good witch, vampire, cozy, dark academia vibes books. Yeah. Just give me some X, you know?
Comments? Is that the word you're looking for?
Thank you. I hate saying, say this in the comments. Why? I don't know, it seems like narcissistic.
Okay.
You know?
You do you, boo.
You do you, boo. Boo. Spooky. A ghost. Anyways, I'm chaotic now. Give me some fall time recs down below, and tell me if you've read any of these books, and please go read Stalking Jack the Ripper. I gotta go feed this kitty, so I gotta go and feed her, but thanks for watching. Give me more recs below, and have a fun spooky season. Bye.